Man, coffee always seems to be gone when I start these episodes. But hey, it is what it is. Oh wait, this is my first episode that I'm doing with coffee. Scratch that. What's up, everybody? This is KP and another episode of The Informal Fan. Today I'm going to be talking about two leagues with a couple others peppered in there. Now, when I say Nordic leagues, I'm meaning more than just Scandinavia. So when we think of Scandinavia, there's three countries that come to mind, which is Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. Now, if you add in to the Nordic sphere, that also adds Finland, Iceland, Faroe Islands, and I guess to an extent Greenland. But today I'm going to focus on Sweden, Denmark, and then touch briefly on some of the others. As you can see, this is going to be a little bit more of a casual one. I've got some notes that I'm going to read off, but not read it like, a boring PowerPoint presentation, of course. But I also want you guys to feel like this is more of a chat, less than me just trying to give you super expert opinions with lots of history. You know how this rolls by now. So we're going to start off with the Allsvenskan. I've got my Gothenburg jersey ready to go, and let's go. As a quick run through about the Allsvenskan, some very minor points you need to know about the history and all that kind of stuff. It was founded in 1924, so it's not exactly a young league, and it's the top league of the Swedish pyramid. So currently in the Allsvenskan, there's 16 teams where you have the first place get to qualify for Champions League. Not automatic, but qualify. Then you have second and third place, which go to the Europa League qualifiers. The bottom two most are automatically relegated to the league below, and then the place in 14th place, so third from the bottom, goes into a qualifying round to fight someone who's coming up to stay up or go down. So when you need to know about successful teams, there's three that you have to keep in mind, number-wise at least. You have Malmo FF, which has seen the likes of like Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They have 23 titles altogether, whereas IFK Gothenburg, who I'm wearing right now, has 13, and IFK Norrköping has 13 as well. And if you want to break it down even more, you could also do it by city, because there are three major cities in Sweden, which also happen to be the three most successful, which is Malmo, Gothenburg, and Stockholm, which I also just said in size reverse, because Malmo is the third largest city, but it's the most title-winning city in Sweden. Gothenburg is second, Stockholm is third, with Stockholm being the capital and the biggest city in Sweden. For a combined, with teams included, Malmo has 23 titles. Surprise, surprise, that's from Malmo. Gothenburg has 19, which is mostly IFK, but then other teams as well. Stockholm has 15, Norrköping has 14, and that accounts for one more than just what IFK Norrköping has. As far as European success, you may have seen Swedish teams in the league, Champions League before, in the Europa League as well, but only one team has won anything European title-wise, and that was twice for IFK Gothenburg. They had the first one in the 81 season and again in the 86 season. So it's been a while since they've seen European success in Sweden. But they regularly show up, especially Malmo. You'll see them, and occasionally AIK and Gothenburg as well. You may have also recently seen them, not too long ago, but Östersunds played Arsenal at one point when both of them were still in the Champions League. Hurts a little bit to say that. So, as far as this season goes, everyone knows that all seasons have been kind of weird. Now, right now, we're reaching the conclusion. As of the time of recording this video, we are getting close to the end of the 2020 season for the Allsvenskan. So the thing is it usually starts up a little bit earlier in the year, but this year it started in April and it is due to complete in December. It is a little bit harder to play in December in a lot of these northern countries because, well, snow and other reasons. I'm going to pull up the standings real quick so I can give you a quick recap of where we are right now. So if it looks like I'm reading mostly into this, it's because I want to give you guys kind of an accurate reading of where we're at. So this is currently the end of October, and we are looking at 25 matches currently as the moment of this recording. Malmo's in first place with 14 wins, 8 draws, 3 losses, and they're sitting at a pretty 50 points right now. I think it's safe to say they're going to win the league, and they're going to go on for Champions League qualification. For Europa League right now, it looks like it's going to be solid for Djurgården, but Norrköping and Häcken and Elfsborg, my Swedish is a little rusty right now, are all tied for 40 points, with Hammarby right behind at 39 points. So honestly, I would say that you have a little bit of leeway for who's going to make it for that Europa League qualifications. If I had to guess, and this is just a guess, I would probably say that Djurgården and Norrköping are safe. But anything can happen. It would be interesting to see someone like Hammarby or Elfsborg show up into the Europa League qualifications, but we'll see. Going to the bottom is where it gets a little painful for me. So Gothenburg is sitting at 13th, so they are not in the relegation zone, but they have had a horrendous season, to say the least. Hopefully they'll pull through and not get relegated so that they can try again next year. But as it stands right now, Falkenberg and Kalmar are going down. They are absolutely going down. I would almost put money on it, but all the points are pretty close in this league, which is kind of wild. So, one game can make a big difference. But I would say it's probably safe to say Kalmar and Falkenberg are going down. And Helsingborg, we'll see. They're only 2 points behind Gothenburg. So unless Gothenburg tanks some more, which I hope not, but if Gothenburg tanks some more, they will have to be in a relegation battle. But right now, Helsingborg is going to probably face someone in the league below for holding their spot or losing it, and then Kalmar and Falkenberg are going down. So that's just a really quick recap of what's going on this season. When the season's over, I plan on doing a recap of the season, kind of what goes on, especially, like I mentioned earlier, some of the meltdown that we saw with Gothenburg. I'll probably touch on as much as I can on other teams on the same thing, and what we can expect from Malmo and other teams that are going to Europe qualifications, where we think they'll stand going forward. I also gave a little bit of a history lesson, so hopefully that was sufficient for you guys. But now we're going to move on to the next section. Who doesn't love a little scenery change? This is kind of cool. So, change it up a little bit. I'm actually kind of liking this. I know I have my little studio space, but I have the house to myself right now. Well, not counting the dogs. But the lighting's been really soft, and I kind of like it in here. It's nice and casual, very cozy. Also, I have a little bit of a different wardrobe change. So I want to make a quick disclaimer. I'm not necessarily a Copenhagen fan, much like I am an IFK fan, but Copenhagen has a special place in my heart because that's where my honeymoon was. And I do hope to actually go attend a game there in the future and also visit there again in the future because wonderful, wonderful city. Not much to complain about. Seeing places like Nyhavn, seeing all the museums and the Royal Palace, it was a fantastic experience, and I highly recommend people visiting there when you're able to go. Oh, and Tivoli, which is super awesome. So we're going to talk next about the Danish Superliga. So again, this is going to be a quick format, just like I did with the Allsvenskan, and I can touch on it a little bit different. Because right now, it's actually at the start of the season, but we'll get back to that. So this league was founded in 91. Hey, same age as me. Now, right now, it's a little bit weird, and I'll explain this shortly, but it's actually a 12-team league this season. It was bumped down from 14 previously, but that's because of stuff, I imagine, that's going on in the world. I don't want to say the words, because I know there's some issues with that on YouTube, so I'm just going to not say it, but you can figure it out. The Danish Superliga, as you would expect, is the top league of the Danish pyramid as well. Since it's newer, there's not as much history, there's not as many cities that have been super successful, quite like you saw in Allsvenskan, so it's pretty easy to guess that there would be one heavy team, which I happen to be wearing the jersey for. So Copenhagen has 13 titles, the most in the country, and you will see them in the Champions League and the Europa League every now and then. The reigning champ, who is in Champions League right now, is Midtjylland, who actually, and funny enough, if you didn't know this, their owner is the same as the Brentford owner. So if you see any kind of similarities in those striped jerseys sometimes, there's a little bit of homage to that. So the current season started in September and is aimed to end in May of 2021. This season is split up a little bit. It is different. So now that it's 12 teams, instead of having kind of a regular format, I haven't really figured out how this is going to work because it just started putting together. But the gist of it is there's 12 teams and it's split up into two 6-team categories. Now, everyone will play a full 22-game season and they'll play away and home, but it's divided between two different levels. So, depending on your levels, the top 6 are slated. I mean, obviously, the bottom 2 still get. I believe the bottom 2 still get relegated. There's going to be a playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, by how this is structured. So your top 6 teams will go into a playoffs that will go on for something else. I think that's what they're going to do with the Danish Cup this year. I'm not sure. Again, the reason why I'm being informal about this is because I haven't really figured out what they're doing with this, since there's not a lot of information on it, but I will follow up on this on Twitter, on YouTube, however. And as the season goes along, I will give some more result coverage as I understand more about it. But from what I can tell, it's going to have 2 different playoffs. But first place will go and do, I believe, Championship League qualifications. So right now, like I mentioned earlier, Midtjylland is in the Champions League, but they are in their own group of death. They're in with Liverpool, Ajax, and Atalanta, and there's no telling who's going to come out of that. Well, okay, I'm going to guess that Liverpool's definitely coming out of that. Atalanta probably as well. I'd love to see Ajax or Copenhagen Midtjylland. But it's unlikely that either of them will survive their group. We will see. Now, I know I've touched a lot on Copenhagen. They are the most successful, and they're going to be a team to watch because they're probably going to want the championship again. But Midtjylland are the reigning champs, and I think that you would be interested in seeing what goes on. So, you want to talk about really informal. I'm just lounging with my feet kicked up on the couch, and I didn't even change shirts because, well, I don't own any other Scandinavian ones. I probably could have worn my Swedish national team one, or the Frölunda Indians hockey jersey that I wear that doesn't really fit me, but I wanted something because I didn't get one last time I was in Gothenburg. The reason why I don't have as much information coming up on the other leagues is because, like I said, I'm learning about them. I don't know very much about them, and I want to at least kind of mention everybody and then work on adding them in, because my goal will be, after I've had some time to really cover Allsvenskan more and the Danish Superliga, that if there's the demand or if I'm able to figure it out, I will definitely cover at least a little bit of everybody else in the Nordic countries. So, just a quick rundown. The 4 other leagues that I'm looking at, and this is probably in order of most accessibility for me to find something out, is Norway has the Eliteserien, Iceland, I'm going to put the word up on the screen, but it's more or less the Icelandic men's select division. Finland, so again, I'm going to put the name up. I know the Swedish version, which is Tipsligan, because there is a Swedish-speaking population in Finland, so I know the Tipsligan, but that's not the actual Finnish word. And then the Faroe Islands have the Faroe Islands Premier League. These are a little bit inaccessible from what I've found so far, especially Iceland, Finland, and the Faroe Islands. Norway has some connections. There's definitely a lot of Norwegian players that are making it big out in Europe right now, like Hauge in AC Milan, and of course Holland. And well, of course, you know, my pronunciation is probably a little more Swedish than Norwegian, but so you have to forgive me. But Holland, and for Dortmund, and then there's others. Martin Odegaard, who is currently on loan, I believe, at Sociedad, but he technically is a Real Madrid player. They're definitely, you know, a region to watch out for, because while the teams themselves and their national teams are not the most successful, they certainly have a lot of reach embedded in some of the big leagues around the world. But their own leagues themselves are growing up. You know, as we continue to have, you know, talks about this Super League for the big guys and, you know, what that means for their respective leagues, you know, who knows? But there's definitely a lot to be said about a lot of these lesser known and small leagues, and part of why I want to cover them, because there's a lot of interest to be had there that's just not present. I'm going to cover mostly the Allsvenskan and the Danish Superliga. The Allsvenskan is coming to a close, so that'll mostly be do a recap and then do a preview once they start getting ready. Danish Superliga, I will update you on as I can, and same with the other ones. I believe that all the other ones are kind of it's split. So some countries are almost done with their leagues. Some of them are like the Danish Superliga, where they're in the start of their. So I'll cover how I can. Oh, And I should mention that Allsvenskan and Danish Superliga, which is part of why I put them at the top, is also they have at least one game a week during their season on ESPN Plus. I think the Danish Superliga was the first one to do it, and Allsvenskan has recently done it. So every now and then you'll catch one of the derbies, you'll catch, a random one that's, in contention for a qualifying spot. So if you do want to watch it, I highly recommend, if you do have ESPN Plus, be on the lookout for any Allsvenskan or Danish Superliga matches. And if any other ones get featured, that'd be super awesome. I'd love to see at least Elite Serien has a fighting chance of making it to that kind of platform. I don't know about Iceland, Finland, or Faroe Islands, but we could see a resurgence of those leagues in the popular eye. So I'd love to see that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to hit the like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below if there's anything I missed or if there's anything more you'd like to learn as I continue to do these. And please don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be putting out as much content as I can weekly. Some of it recaps, some of it's fun stuff. You never know, but I'm going to put my best effort into it. And as always, I'm the Informal Fan, and I will see you next time.